Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast. 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. So,
Awesome.
Hey, I'm
Hello.
Loren Norris here with Leading Leaders Podcast and Tell It Like It Is TV with Loral Langemeier. And I don't know if you know Loral or not, but if you watch my podcast at all, You've heard me talk about her dozens of times. And one of the things that I find most fascinating is that, as I've said before right here on the show, we have about a 60-40 agreement. And by that I mean about 60% of the stuff that either one of us talks about from the platform, you could read her stuff and read mine, you wouldn't know any different. And about 40% we kind of look at it and go, yeah, I'm not sure I'm on board with that.
Well, I think we should have that conversation we were just talking about, and then we'll just let them vote.
And that's
let them
it's
vote.
exactly, because I teach on quantum physics and the reticular activating system and how that impacts your story. And so tell me, reticular activating system, quantum physics, how does that impact your finance?
It's a direct correlation. I mean, I teach it from more of an energy, right? Vibration,
Right.
same thing. So, well, I'm going to go a little bit different direction. How does it affect your finance? I think it has everything to do with it. I think, what's interesting about The Secret, right, having been in it, the piece that doesn't get talked about is how it actually transact to your banking, right, to the bank account, is your feelings are a huge part of your energy. And I think when people say, well, I have a mindset, they're thinking, not feeling.
Right.
Right? And it all is connected. So if you have a nervous energy, or even just a nervous energy around asking me a question, people in that room, because we're here in Dallas, Texas, in a cool room, people are scared to talk about it. So, right?
Intimidated to talk about money, like when you did the makeovers.
But if you have that feeling and you consistently restrict in your feeling, it's going to show up in your bank account. So when we say, when I say, again, quantum physics, like when you really think about it, it's not just the vision board and how you the things you want to see.
Which is projection.
In your head, projection, right? It's in your body, it's in your cells. Like you have to just know. You don't have to know how, you have to know it's going to come. And where the people get screwed up in the how is they're not using who. They're not using people who actually know what the hell they're doing.
Okay.
Right? So they're trying to figure out how to do their own podcast, right? They're trying to figure out or they just don't do it. They're trying to figure out how to write their own book and they don't know how to write.
And if they don't know how to write, they just throw the brakes on.
Right.
They just stop
and
where
they
they're
actually
at.
should not write. I don't write, I talk. And then I transcribe. We have all these amazing tools. And then I hire
let an
somebody.
editor convert it to the
I hire
AI.
the Who
to
create an amazing book, 5 New York Times.
Okay, so
I'm going again next year. With 3 books.
A project that I've been working on called the Attitude Hack. Now, I've taught this for the Congolese government. I've taught it for the University of Kinshasa at the doctoral level. I've taught it for high school students. And one of the things that I've never really addressed is the attitude of money. But here's attitude according to Dr. Daniel Amen, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Caroline Leaf. They always say attitude is a thought plus an emotion. You've heard me teach that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
How you think about what you feel and what you feel about how you think. And so if I hear a thought and I instantly have an emotional reaction to that, that is an attitude by its nature.
That's true.
But if you go back to the Edinburgh Lectures of Mental Science in 1904, they said that energy in motion is emotion. So the vibrational energy that comes and goes, ebbs and flows out of your body, the way that you are received in a room, the way you project yourself in a room, the way people feel when you show up, that is the attitude. That's the energy in motion. So what is the attitude of money? An example. I grew up with my mom telling me the rich get rich, the poor go broke, and it's the rich's fault. Now, I've also listened to Dr. Sir Lawrence talk about the idea of the industrial age and how that impacted education. You talked about that yesterday.
1933.
You also talked about how the way that we've been taught to sit in rows, follow the order, do the obedient thing, made us slaves, basically, to an economic system of W-2.
Yeah. It goes around everything, how we eat. Why do you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Why don't you eat when you're hungry? I mean, there is so much structure, rules that have just been indoctrinated since the industrial age, 1933. Being an employee, you only get 2 breaks, you only get lunch. Like, who made all that up? Like,
and what part of efficiency was that?
No, there's no efficiency. It's under control. So you call it slaves, I say high control. So what's the vibration attitude of money? It's fast and confident. I mean, you know my energy on stage. I mean, it's kind of what I'm known for.
Yeah, it's funny because I
extremely forward. It doesn't mean
cheat. I ask people
feelings.
questions like, so is Laurel really frazzled today? And your team goes, frazzled. No, that word doesn't really resonate, which is funny because a lot of people go, no, she's frazzled. I'm like, no, she's not. She just operates on an entirely different level. Her
the speed,
slowing down to wait for everybody else to catch up is absolutely frustrating.
It's
So
exhausting.
everybody else goes, she must be frazzled. They're like, no, she's waiting on you. Just mentally, emotionally catch up. Yeah. Come on,
And I
plug
can
in.
even finish your sentence, and it's not because I'm disrespectful. When you just live at that level of
Yes.
thought and speed, and I'm going to add a couple like skills, right? Because I always like sharing, like, how did you get here? Memory techniques. I studied them since I was 16, 17, 18. High memory techniques. Still do it. Photographic memory. I don't think I was born with it. I think I've created it.
Okay.
There's some of the greatest,
Yep.
like Jim Quick's great at it. Ron Wider great at
Yep.
it. I mean, I just had Ron come to our big table to teach memory techniques
Really?
because you got to know how to do it. And the other one is speed reading. But speed reading also creates speed thought.
Yes.
Right? Because I don't need to hear the story, the is, does, all that.
Cut to the chase.
Just get to the point, get to the result. Now, the downside of speed reading is I can't audio read my books.
Right.
It took me, and when I did with Reed Tracy, when I did my Yes Energy book, Reed's like, only the author gets to read it. I said, you understand, speed readers can't read out loud. Like, that's kind of my joke with my kids. They're like, how come you never read us a lot of books when we were young? Like, we listened to them, we didn't read them. I said, because I miss words. Like, when you're really
You
highly
essentially
trained.
skip the articles. Yeah.
Yeah, you skip all that because you don't need it. Your brain has such amazing power to connect dots. You don't need all of that.
Okay, so realistically, do you speed read financial concepts?
Oh, God,
and by
yeah.
that I mean leave out
Yes.
all the fluffy
Yes.
details that
Yes.
everybody else gets so enraptured
Yes.
in.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have a lot of financial analysts on our team, right? I think if folks haven't been watching our integrated, it went from Live Out Loud as the company, which it still
Right.
is, but Integrated Wealth Systems is really what we do. So it's this big URL new brand, and it's great. It's what we do. Now that you've seen
So-
it too, like you've seen this as a whole new team.
I have. So I have to say, for those of you who have watched me, I mean, Leading Leaders podcast is now 4 years old. Started as Tell It Like It Is TV, but my journey in the world of motivational speaking and leadership coach started in 2011 with the World Championship of Public Speaking with Toastmasters. Then I joined the John Maxwell team.
good.
That took me to James Malinchek, which is where I met Laurel the first time in
awesome.
2012. I went to Orange County to the one of the last, I guess it was, or near the last, 3 days to fast cash.
Yeah.
I sat through that, and the first day, I came with 6 books to sell because they said, you will get to sell stuff. And I'm like, good, that'll pay for my lunch. And I came with 6 books, and I sold out them in the first round. And then I listened to other people tell their story about their product, and I went, that doesn't make any sense. And so I started helping people recraft their stories. And what you know now as
look at that. I
Story
started
Power
a new business
is
with you, huh?
that is a 6-hour
awesome.
workshop. I charge
Good for
$1,000
you.
a person to go.
That's
I charge
awesome.
$1,000 a month for coaching clients to go to that. And
That's
it
awesome.
started in your class because
know
it
that.
changed the way I think about money. And can you ask for more money from people?
Always.
So that's part of it. So as we look at this evolution from
So
Live
I
Out
wanna
Loud
add,
to
there's
Integrated
also-
Wealth Systems,
Yeah, yeah.
one of the other things that I noticed was you've really stepped up the game as far as what's taught, how
Mm-hmm.
deep it's taught, because I'm like you, I'm a researcher, I'm a thinker, I'm a studier, I never stop. But that means that there are some people who are going to get left behind because they come looking for that $25 transaction, and what you're teaching is $25 million transactions and $250,000 transactions, and you've got to think and play and relate at an entirely different level
Completely.
to do that.
Completely. So as you notice, I have a lot of team, and so some of the team.
That's probably one of my favorite things is hearing
a
from
huge
so many
team.
other experts, because you've always referred to them.
I know,
But
I
they've
bring
always
them.
been kept at arm's length, and now to be able to actually hear them say, so here's what I think and here's why.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the stories about the $72,000 tax return. That's huge.
Huge.
That's enormous. And it's exactly what we say in the world of coaching. You don't know what you don't know.
Right. Right.
And that's why you need to hire somebody who does.
Yep. And so I want to just address, though, the people aren't getting left behind, because what we're going to do, well, 2 things. And since you love evolution,
Yes.
one of the things I'm going to do, and I'm going to find a group, and I want to license my 3 days to cash work. It's just too good. That work was pristinely
I think it should be
done.
it should be in high schools.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be a high school mentoring program for these kids who are coming out going, I'm going to go to college and make 60 grand. No, you're not. You're going to go to college and have $200,000 worth of debt and no job.
Right, or at least. So I want to license that. But the other thing too is there are a lot of people in our community that are beginning, and they
Yes.
have their own work. So Kyle, who you see in the room, right, Air Force fighter pilot, he has a flight to financial freedom. It is that beginning stuff, almost, again, percents off, but it's still that financial initial stuff that I did way back in my
Yes.
Guerrilla Wealth days, right? It's like I look at my Guerrilla Wealth book I wrote in 2004, and I'm thinking, can I add another lesson to those listening? If you have a book in you and you don't think it's the best, but it's all you got, get it on paper. Because here's the other thing spiritually, right?
Yeah.
Is I also believe that people are extremely selfish with their knowledge. Extremely selfish. They're all worried about themselves. You know, it's not ready, it's not ready. I don't know how many people have a book for 6 years.
And it's their ego that they're holding on to it.
boy, is that a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
They don't know it's their ego though,
No.
right? They don't have
They
that
make
rele-
excuses to cover their pride, and then they hold it
And
within
they-
themselves, not realizing how many other people's lives could be impacted by it. And the fact that, just like you said, you look at Guerrilla
ripping
Work
people up.
and you now go,
Oh my God,
okay, that was
the
so
baby.
amateur.
It was so
but,
baby, but it was the best I had in that minute.
And if it hadn't come out then, what would have evolved?
Well, and what happens spiritually, I always say, if you don't release it and give it, you aren't getting any more. Because people say, why? And you're very similar. Like
Yeah.
high thinkers and fast thinkers continue to get knowledge downloaded.
Well, and
Spiritually has
Ivan
to
Meisner's whole
happen.
world was found on that: givers gain.
Yeah.
If you don't give, you can't gain.
But see, I think a lot of people hear that as money. I'm talking
Yes.
thought as well.
And
Like everything
relationship.
you have got to just continue. Like, why do you think this has evolved? Because I keep changing. Like, there's days my team, that's what they think is frazzled because it drives them crazy. And that's coming soon. There will be a day, and you'll see it in 2020, promise. It happened with the fast cash. I just said, I'm done teaching that. I'm going back to what I know.
Moving
and
on.
I want, moving on. And they said, well, how are we going to migrate for months? I said, we're not. We're just going to change the conversation today.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk about it today. And I stopped. And it shocked my whole marketing team. They're like, oh my God, we have to rewrite copy. I said, keep up. I'm talking, you transcribe, keep it on
Yes.
the pages, and just keep moving. And so coming soon, like I'm launching my legacy and my parenting stuff. Because it does have to go to school systems. And I think Sharon Lecter's, like, I call her my financial mom. And she's already got some financial literacy in the Arizona school system. But
Yeah.
my fast cash has got to get into, I think, junior high. I think it's middle school before they
That's
start
interesting.
getting, I
Yeah.
think it's the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Well, I have a 7th grader right now, so I know it's like she's perfect time for it. She's watched it, but her friends like it, right?
Yeah.
That's a perfect
Well, and I do
age.
agree, especially as we see so much more of, I want free college, I want free class, I want free this, I want free that. We see so much indoctrination, for lack of a better term, where kids are having such a distorted relationship to money. I mean, mine was jacked up. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
There's
but
no
the-
doubt
but
it was
the
jacked
jack
up.
now is even more. It's
And it's
insane.
detrimental. It's being trained towards slavery or bondage or however you want to label that. They're being trained to be
Or to do
under the
nothing.
thumb of. Yeah.
Or to do nothing.
Well, and if you get what you need sustenance-wise without doing anything at all, then basically I own you. That is slavery. I don't know. How else would you label that, right? If you
Yeah,
only
it's
get
a
what
lot.
you get because I gave it to you and only because you comply with everything I tell you to, yeah, that's slavery.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What else to call it?
Interesting.
Okay, so
we gotta roll.
how many of you would love to see this conversation continue? I'm going to guess almost all of you. So please send a little like, thumbs up, comment, share the page.
On mine too,
Let people-
because then
and
we'll
yes,
keep
share
going
it
live on mine. We're gonna roll.
And we're going to come back at another time. We'll do a multi-camera shoot. We'll sit down, just like we're going to do with Dr. Ivan Meisner
Yeah.
and several other people.
And bring my team. I want
And
to bring
the
my
team. Yes, we're gonna walk through the entire team. In fact, we may just go to Nevada and do this. So if you're bored,
see the
you want to
team.
go along for the trip, let me know. You can come carry camera equipment.
That's awesome. I
Love
love
you.
it.
Thank you for the time. I appreciate it. Honored to be here.
Take care.
And thank you all for watching. Again, please share the videos, comments. We'd love to have your opinions. Have a great day.
Well done.
Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom. You can get in.
A few questions, like 5, 10, and then we'll
Yes,
pitch and say next week we'll have a big conversation.
very good.
I think we have this whole spiritual one, back and forth. That'd be
That
fun. Just a
would-
conversation.
That would be great, yeah. Well,
Less than an
have you-
interview, a conversation.
Hey,
Okay.
I think we're live already.
Oh, cool.
Welcome.
We're going to do more next week than what we're talking about.
Yes. So some of our mutual friends, like the Meisners.
Oh, yeah.
Have you read her book?
No, I haven't.
She has a book called Jesus and the Secret.
Oh, interesting.
His wife wrote an
Actually, I do
incredible
know
book.
that. All right.
Incredible book. So I've been
Cool.
reading through that. Leadership team. If attitude is going to have a deep impact on your business and bottom line, make it a positive attitude with a positive impact. Visit jlorennorris.com/attitude hack